Hello, this is Riley Smith with MakeGood Creative Network, and if you hear heavy panting during this video, it's my dog. Let's all be cool about it. Don't make it weird, okay? So my last video was all about goal setting, general principles of goal setting that I think work well, especially if you are neurodivergent, and just try harder. It doesn't really work for you, which I feel like you don't even have to be neurodivergent for that to not work for you. It's just not very helpful advice most of the time. So I promised during that video that I would make another video that went into detail about my specific process. My process is informed by those principles that I talked about during that video, but it's not exactly that. You know, obviously there are some details of what works for me, what I found works really well for me. These are the goal setting principles that allowed me to write a ton of novellas last year, work on my mental health, as well as at the start of this year I published my first debut novel, self-published that. So, you know, I do stuff. Basically, yeah, I do stuff. And I'm going to show you the goal setting process that helps me do stuff despite depression, anxiety, and ADHD. Woo! So the very first thing that I do with goal setting is at the start of each year, usually, or just when I need a reset. It doesn't have to be at the start of the year, but I just did it most recently for the start of 2022. But I kind of do a reset on this a lot of times. I write down literally everything that I would like to do. I write down every single thing I would like to accomplish that I can think of in my head. I'll actually show you the sheet that I made for this year. I write everything down just to get it out of my brain and onto paper. This does not mean I'm going to do all those things this year. I'll show you later how I kind of prioritize. But first, I just write down everything that I can think of that I would like to accomplish soon. Like soon, not stuff that I like in 10 years I'd like to do X, Y, like stuff that I would like to get done at least within the next couple of years. Here's an example of things I would like to do. You'll see on here everything from I'd like to get a tattoo at some point to there's a book I wrote a while ago that I need to revise. I'd like a better streaming setup. Basically, I just wrote down literally everything I could think of. This includes goals for my small business, MakeGood, which is this. As well as like more personal goals. I just write down literally everything. There's 2 pages of this. That might seem kind of wild, but this is what I start with. I get everything out of my head and onto the page. Then you'll notice these colorful letters next to everything. I actually categorize everything. So I have like S, which is basically stories, my writing. That's one category. I have M for make good stuff. And I have H for, I call that health and hearth, so kind of health and home. I guess I could have just called it health and home, that also makes sense. But hearth sounds cooler. And you'll see I have something like, you know, organized bedroom under home, or like get my wisdom teeth removed because I still have those. But then for stories, you know, I have to finish drafts of books or revise stuff for MakeGood. I'd like to get a business mentor in the near future. So I basically categorize everything according to these 3 categories: my writing, MakeGood, and just health and personal life stuff. So once I've categorized everything, put it in its little box, my goal is to always have one priority in every category that I'm working on at a time. I talked about this in the other video. I like to have 3 big goals at any one time. This helps me because I really can't stay focused on just one project at a time. I have to have a couple of things going at once. So it works better for me to have like 3 things. If you can stay focused on one thing at a time, awesome. If that works for you and that works best for your brain, do that. But for me, I like to have one thing in each of these categories that I'm working on. So I put everything into its appropriate category, and then I prioritized it. I said, what was the most important thing that I need to get done or want to get done soonest? And it goes in the top of the list. So releasing my novel, Cardinal, on Amazon was the top of the stories category. That was the very first thing that I did this year in that category, and then everything else is going to come after that I want to get done. I also like to have a theme for my year, like an overarching theme. So once I figured out like what the majority of my things were, once I figured out what the majority of the things were that I wanted to do, I figured out my theme for this year was make stuff. I want to make a lot of stuff and share it with people. So 2022 goals, make stuff. I'll show you the magic of Make Good category because that's what this video is for. So once I put everything into this prioritized list, what I actually did is I put the 12 most important things first, and then those stay in like just black font, but everything else is grayed out because all of this stuff I'm expecting to do in later years. So I've been using this process for a couple of years now, with some breaks in between, but I did one of these for 2020 and for 2021. So these are things that I plan on getting done in later years, but I have 12 big goals for MakeGood that I want to do this year. They include things like get a business mentor, create a quiz so that it's even easier for people to get use out of our Creativity Killers guide. Because quizzes are more fun than just like, you know, reading through a PDF. So I want to make a quiz, you know, a couple other things, getting a business credit card, some of that stuff. I put it all in order of priority. My very first thing for the year, my goal for January, was to set MakeGood metrics and goals. So figure out, you know, what am I measuring? What do I want to, how do I want to measure the performance of the company? And then the very next goal that is active right now, because I already did the first thing, is release our How to Nail Your First Audition pack, which is something I'm working on formatting and finalizing right now. So that'll be out there to help all you actors, which will be really cool. But so I have 12 things that I want to get done this year, and I have 12 things in each category. I have 12 things in my story category, 12 things in the Make Good category, and 12 things in the home category. If I get through all these 12 things and move on to the next ones, awesome. That's cool. But I'm not going to expect myself to do 6,000 things this year and drive myself into an anxiety attack every time I think about it. I'm just gonna think about these 12 things and do them one at a time. So my goal is to have this audition pack, this helpful guide, out before the end of February. So whatever I'm working on at the moment, so my 3 primary goals actually translate into my daily goals. And I do that through this Heroes Journal. I got it from the Heroes Journal. They're really awesome. I'll probably do a full review and like walk y'all through this book, but basically it turns your goals into a quest. My goal for this year being to make stuff. And so every day, let me see if I can show you guys the one for today without violating my privacy on accident. My handwriting's so bad, so who knows what I'm saying. But these journals are really cool because every day I can think about my big overarching quest. I want to make stuff. Make stuff. That's my big quest. And then every day I look at the 3 things I need to do to move each of my categories forward. So I have to work on a novella for a client right now that will eventually turn into a self-published work. I have to film this Make Good vid. Oh, I'm doing that right now. And I got to buy my dog a collar. All right. And every day there's like this fun little quote, but I can figure out my 3 top priorities for today, which, I think numbers 2 and 3 are the only ones I'm going to do, but then this just moves on to tomorrow, right? So every day I think of my 3 top priorities to work on whatever my current goals are right now on that list that we just looked at. And then based on that, I figure out what my day is going to look like. Now this changes constantly. Of course, we roll with it. These, you know, I don't always end up finishing all 3, but it helps me add a little bit of structure to my life, especially because I'm freelance full-time. And the book is super cute. So I'll do a full review and like tour of my Heroes Journal at some point. But that's how my big goals kind of transfer into daily work. Because if you have your big goals, but you don't know the daily steps you're going to do, you're not gonna be able to get them done. The other thing that helps me, besides doing this every day, is I have my Asana, which is a really cool to-do app. I'll show you guys that now. So this is Asana. It's super cool. Here's my MakeGood project. You can make a lot of different projects and then look at each of the projects individual. So actually all my clients are their own project on here, and MakeGood is its own project. But you can view things as a list with these different categories that you can make. So I put everything that I need to do, all the steps on here. And then I assign the steps to, not on the board. I don't like that view. I don't use that view. The calendar. So as you can see, sometimes I've had to not do MakeGood stuff and work on other stuff, but it's super flexible because you can just click and drag. So filming YouTube vid, I'm actually doing that today, surprisingly enough. I thought I was gonna have to do it tomorrow, but tomorrow I will publish it. So basically whatever goal I'm working on right now, I take it and I break it down into its composite steps, and those steps end up on my Asana, which makes it way easier for me to see, like, okay, what all do I have to do today? And I always look at my Asana when I'm picking my like 3 big tasks for the day and filling out my hero's journal. So they kind of support each other. The Asana helps me figure out when I'm going to do the individual steps of whatever project I'm working on. And the hero's journal helps me focus on a daily basis of, you know, when am I actually going to do the things besides like on the 31st? So like, when on the 31st am I actually gonna sit down and do the thing? Dog break, he's in his sweater. He's so cute. So that is my process for goal setting, which trickles down. I've been watching a lot of ASMR videos. Okay, which trickles down into all of my daily to-dos and helps me keep focused. If you need help figuring out what exactly is holding you back creatively, if maybe it's not goal setting but something else, or you don't even know where to start with thinking about what your goals are, we have the 21 creativity killers, which is a guide that will walk you through all the different things that could be holding you back and tell you exactly what to do about them. Also, if you liked the video, make sure that you like the video. Haha! Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We offer all sorts of great advice on this channel for being more creative and staying inspired. I'm gonna go now because I think the dog is chewing on my chair. But most importantly, let's go make stuff.